Règle d'or. Traite les autres comme tu aimerais être traité. We all know the golden rule: treat others as you like to be treated. Bonsoir. I'm Yelene on Fire. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I like to share several tidbits on wellness, specifically mind and body as well as financial wellness, while throwing in a few thought-provoking ideas here and there. I also like to entertain you with some fun stories from my personal life. As today is July 4th, 2020, I like to share my personal thoughts, not just on Independence Day, but mainly on recent events. This is a holiday that is typically celebrated with family and friends, going over to Brooklyn or Queens and having a potluck or brunch or barbecue at someone's apartment. And as the night falls, we go up to the rooftop and watch the fireworks over the East River at a distance, because having the Manhattan skyline in the background is quite lovely. If we're too far to see anything, we just go downstairs and do what everyone else does, watch it on the telly. Unfortunately, this year, this is not something that has been feasible due to ongoing global health outbreak. Partly because of social distancing, but also due to the financial crisis that went hand in hand with it. Several friends and family members have had to seek greener pastures elsewhere. The cherry on top has been the social unrest, which is something I very much like to address here. The reason why I chose Alien in Alien on Fire is because my first experience on US soil was the border agent who asked me for my alien registration card when I landed. It turns out the document he was asking for, the I-94, was among many documents I must keep nearby at all times as a foreign national. This certainly marked me because when I heard the term alien, it first confused me. I was fairly certain that I was born and raised on Earth. From there on, I understood that things will oftentimes be different. I spent more than half of my life here, and I'm quite familiar with the culture, yet I cannot claim to relate to the experience from several underrepresented friends and family members, from Asian American, Native American, Latinx, as well as African Americans and colleagues, family members. I would like to share a personal story to that effect, because I've had a fairly distinct taste of what it might be. If you're familiar with The Lord of the Rings, not the books, the cinematic feature, then you have seen the creature Gollum. But little may you have known that the software, the motion capture software that was developed to generate the creature was in fact created by a mechanical engineering professor. Quite a lovely man of integrity, fantastic person, his wife, an angel on earth. He often extended his academic achievement by ensuring that his students would be successful. And he specifically wanted to work with minority students, which is why he volunteered to be the faculty advisor for a student organization to help engineering students succeed academically and excel professionally. In fact, it was to that effect that he had invited a group of students to his house to prepare for student competition. There was an intercollegiate competition that was to take place during the national convention of the National Society of Black Engineers. Although each student was in the team and represented a different engineering discipline, from software engineering to mechanical, industrial, polymer and fiber, aeronautical, materials, chemical, and so on. Although every single student had been studying on their own, he wanted to make sure that we could work as a team, and therefore a dress rehearsal was organized at his home. His wife offered to cook a dinner. She's a fantastic cook. We all relished. We were to be as closely prepared. We dressed the part to make sure we were in the spirit of the competition. We made sure to wear our suits and bring our huge engineering textbooks. As we're leaving his home, quite excited to have been quite excited to have been hosted by such a lovely couple, and also teasing each other as some of us were clearly less prepared than others for the contest. The police showed up. Quite confused, we asked him what was the deal, and he quite confused. The police officer as he came out of his vehicle, asked us whether we lived in the area and whether we were planning to leave anytime soon. Under one of my classmates' requests, he confirmed that one of the neighbors had indeed called to report a group of black people who looked suspicious because we did not look like we belonged there. Under his watchful eye, we started making our way towards our vehicle a little faster than earlier because we're clearly taking our sweet time earlier. And based on the look of dismay on my face, my classmates understood that I had never experienced something like this. And this is when they decided to cheer me up by tapping my shoulder and telling me, "Get used to it. It happens a lot here." It was quite disappointing. One would think it only happens in the South, but based on my experience in the Midwest as well as in the Northeast, I'll tell you it does not end there. I've had various experiences when I was trying to get internet installed in my apartment. The polling service received, and the person had made fairly clear that it was because of the way I look, as well as at my workplace. Despite being on the engineering floor, people either assume I'm a diversity hire, therefore I must not know how engineering works, or they simply assume I must be the floor admin and leave packages on my desk to be distributed to other people without really looking for where the floor admin sits. I've also had some colleagues made disparaging comments based on my ethnicity and gender. Other times I've had colleagues who just simply made ignorant comments. For example, can I touch your hair? Or why do you get your hair braided? Why can't you have it be straight like everyone else? Like, it's not naturally straight. What has actually made this experience worse lately has been that despite being in a fairly recent relationship, we've had to discuss pretty deep and serious topics, and one of them has been family. And that's when I realized that, oh my God, our children are going to grow up as black in America. And as we researched what that meant, it's something neither one of us had experiencing, and I don't know, we're not prepared for that. Why would anyone be prepared for that? Why would anyone be prepared to, as a woman of color, be more likely to die in childbirth because of the way the medical stereotypes in the medical affecting the medical field and the medical treatment received? Why would the parent have to worry about selecting a name that doesn't sound too black when they name their child because they don't want to ruin their chances at receiving a call back when they apply for jobs later in the future? But will anyone be mentally prepared for their child to not be allowed to play with a classmate in kindergarten or middle school or high school or later in simply because of their skin color? Why will anyone prepare your child to one day be turned down when trying to date someone just because of their skin tone? Or even worse, if the person accepts to be in a relationship with them, the person could be disowned. I've had friends who were disowned by their parents simply because the person they fell in love with has even one drop of blood black. But will anyone have to tell your kids you have to be prepared when you go to college to not be treated the same, because rather than people understanding that your academic achievements are your own, that's how you got into the school of your choice, then people will assume that it's because of affirmative action. Same with at the workplace. Why would anyone want to prepare your children to the fact that the stark reality that they may not have the same opportunity for mentorship, training, advancement? If you don't believe me, look at the Fortune 500. Not just the CEOs, also look at the board, look at the management teams. There's a clear lack of diversity there. So that's been really shocking, really heartbreaking. And that has made me realize that we need to listen. We need to listen to each other more. We need to make sure that we get out of our comfort zone. If our entourage is not diverse enough, we need to make sure that we shop at various places. We live in diverse neighborhoods. We work in diverse places, and so that we are surrounded by people who don't necessarily look like us or have the same religion, political affiliation, thought process or background. We sit down, listen to each other. Like, this is the only way or we can bring the best out of each other is by listening at first and putting ourselves in the other person's shoes. Then we need to take action and make sure that not just what we do, but also what we tolerate, what we accept, reflects the world we would like to build. And we need to speak up. Even in Proverbs, it says, speak up for those without a voice. So we need to speak up because remember, your silence says a lot. So don't just be silent thinking, oh, at least I didn't say anything offensive. No, speak up when something horrible is being said in your presence. As my great-grandmother often reminded us growing up, we did not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrowed it from our children. So remember, we have to leave this earth better than we found it. The only way we can build a better future is together. So let's do this. Let's make sure everyone has an equal opportunity at being successful, because this is the best way we can take this world forward. Thank you.